I told you that I would talk to you a little bit about the card kit tonight also, and so you could see exactly what you would be getting in your card kit. So right here is everything that you would be getting. All of these. So here is the base of the card, which is just, this is just a 5.5, which I call a hamburger cut, a 5.5 cut, and then scored at 4 1/4. And then you cut the magic number is 2. You cut 2 inches off of here, and then score this in half. So that will be then where this goes. And then this is just a piece of our basic white cardstock, and that is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Get 2 of these shapes, one for the front and one for the back. And as I said before, you will also get 2 of these just in case when you go to stamp your greeting that you make a mistake. You'll have the pennant die cut so that you can attach, and then you're going to get a piece of the Petunia Pop to put inside. And let's see, where are the other pieces? Did I not cut them maybe? Oh, I thought I did. All right, well, you know what? That'll be a good thing because I can talk to you about the way that we need to make sure that we're cutting those. So all the pieces are here except for the pattern paper pieces. And like I said, the magic number is 2 inches. 2 inches by 5 1/4 it would be. All right, so let's go ahead and get those cut so we know for sure that we have everything that we need for the card. So this is the paper that I used for this card. Now this is one of this paper does have a pattern to it, and for me it seems like it kind of goes across this way. So I want to make sure that I'm cutting it at my 2 inches this way, so that it's going to follow that. For some reason, for me, this looks, if I would cut it at 2 inches here and then put it on, this looks upside down to me. So this, you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the patterns of the papers if you're cutting them, to make sure that you're cutting them correctly and they'll lay right. All right, so I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. And I apologize for the glare. By 5 1/4. And we need 2 of those. So that will, this will also be included in your kit that you get, that you order. Like I said, I'm only making 5 kits this time, just because I don't want a whole bunch of extra kits sitting around. But I figure if I have extra with those 5, then I can just go ahead and I'll make them up for myself and use them. All right, so the other thing that we need to do is fussy cut. I didn't have time to cut it beforehand. I want to show you though, this is the die cuts that are in this paper. So this is where I got the brooms. You can see the brooms and the cauldrons, and then here's the little soupy stuff, you know, whatever they're making, and the jars, the labels for the jars. So these all have, they all have a pop out, so you can just pop them out and use them. So we also need a bat out of here. So we'll get that bat. And we already have our broom ready to go. So I showed you that with the paper. And then this paper has 2 sheets that has these adorable animals on them. They're already colored. And so what I did with this girl, I guess I should say, is I cut her out. It didn't take long, but I'm sure tonight it'll feel like it took a long time. So the great thing is you can use these pages to decorate your cards, and then if you don't even want to buy the stamp set, then you wouldn't even have to buy the stamp set, and you could use something you already have at home. All right. I hope the weather is nice wherever you're at. It's actually temperate here and not so hot. It takes your breath away like it was. So the scissors I'm using are paper snips from Stampin' Up. I know that they said that once they're gone now, they won't be able to order anymore from the company that they were ordering them from. They're $10. I think they're like $9.95. And I will tell you, they are really nice scissors to use. I have 2 pair. I have a pair that I use for paper, only paper, and then I have a pair that I use for ribbon. And that pair has this red ribbon on it. And it's funny because Carl tried to cut ribbon with these that I'm using right now, and he's like, they're not very sharp. But then he used my ones that I only use for ribbon, and he was like, oh, they're really sharp. You know, it's kind of like at home when you used your mom's scissors that she had for sewing, and she would get really mad that you used them for something other than material, because they were only supposed to be for material, right? So when you cut things out, do you sit or do you stand? Or even when you stamp, do you sit or you stand? So I used to stand a lot more than I do. I find myself, I have mine at like counter level. My workspace is at counter level. And I find that when I color or when I am cutting, that I do better if I'm sitting. But then when I stamp, I stand up. So we're only going to make this one card tonight. And then Thursday night, we're going to do 2 projects. One will be a card, and the other one is going to be a 3D project. I haven't gotten the little 3D item. I talked about doing the pen, but I think I'm going to wait and do that next week. And with the pen. And I have another thing that I want to do this week. But I need the items that we're going to stick inside that thing to come from Amazon. So hopefully it'll be here by Thursday. If not, then I'll have to do the pen. All right, we're almost done. You can see I have a little bit of white showing around the outside edge. Some people like to do it right up close. And I can get a little bit closer, I think, when I'm not on Facebook Live. But for me right now, it's easier to do it and just leave a little bit of white on the outside of it, of the border. Once this girl's cut out, this is going to go so quickly to put together. I was kind of excited when I designed this, then it was not closing. And so I was really excited and challenged myself to figure out a way to be creative and get it to close. All right, there she is. Carl asked me what that was, and I don't know. A stork, maybe? I'm not really sure. I said a big bird. That's what I said. All right, let me throw this out. He also told me that I put her on backwards. I need to turn the broom around, so we'll do that. But I still think she looks cute. I like her the way she is, so I'll turn her around in this card. So, all right. So we'll put her in here. Let's do this one step at a time so we're not. Actually, I'm going to do it a little bit backwards from how I did it when I set it. Because you learn so much when you do it one time, and then you're thinking, oh, you know what? The next time I do it, I need to do it a little differently. So the reason why I'm doing the tag first is because what I realized is gluing the tag on to the back of this, once the girl bird is on the front of the tag, was really, really difficult for me. So I figured it would be so much easier to do it if it was flat before I put the bird on. So that's what we're going to do first. So how I did this so that it was kind of like a rainbow color and gives it a little bit of fun on the back of it, but you don't have to if you don't want to do that, is I just used my Stampin' Blends. One of the things that I didn't do was I didn't blend it. I could do that too. And I usually always use, showing you Stampin' Blends, there's two different tips. Here's the finer tip, and then there's a brush tip. So I actually always use that fine tip, but I thought that it would be fun to use the brush tip for this. Petunia Pop we use, and then these are all the light colors. Whoops, wrong end. Let's use the brush end. And the light pumpkin pie. So I'll show you what it looks like if you blend it. As I turn around to get my blender. So the blender looks like this. And it's actually called a color lifter. So it just kind of creates a little bit of different, if you like that. it kind of reminds me of the paper and how the paper is lighter and darker in areas. So it's kind of cool that it goes with that. Something a little different. All right, so we're gonna stamp, and I'm gonna use my Memento ink pad. Stamp it. Happy Halloween. Stand up here. Cross my fingers. It's going to be a nice ink. Oh, that looks great. All right. Let's put this to the side so there's not a mishap with the black ink, right? All right, we don't need the scissors, so let's get those out of the area. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this on here, and then we're going to glue this on too. It's a little bit of gummy on there, I think. There we go. Little of this goes a long way, doesn't it? Reason why I love the glue, the liquid glue, because we have some time to make sure that it's layered correctly and looks nice. All right, there we go. So now that's there. So we'll put this over here, out of the way. All right, so let's put our card together. We are almost done. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to put our belly band on, or our belt, I guess I could call it. And we're going to try to attach it so it's kind of in the middle of the card and to the outside edge. I was really surprised that I chose black for this card because I don't use black very often. All right, then we're going to open this up. And we're going to put our basic white. And I just use the regular basic white, not the thick white, because it has so many layers already that we don't need this for the inside of the card with all the layers that we're putting on it. Layer that so that it's even. And now we're going to put, so the bats all do go fly up this way, if you can see. So they are all going the same exact way. That's why I say there is a direction to this paper. Definitely has a pattern, directional pattern, right? So we can put this right here, line it up. Then we're going to close this up. Outside on. Smooth it down. And then we still have the petunia pop. We're going to put that on the inside of the card. there's that. So now we have everything there. We're going to use a Stampin' Dimensional on the bottom of our pennant. All right, so there's that. And now we just need this. Now, oh, shoot Magoot. Ah, Sandy. Sandy, Sandy, Sandy. All right, guess what I'm going to do? So I did not think about the fact that I needed to put one on one side and one on the other side when I did this. So what I need to do is I'm not going to try to pull this apart. I need to die cut another one of these. And that's why we do these videos, so that it will help you to know and not make the same mistakes that I did. Here I was trying to fix one problem that I made in myself another problem. All right, so let me die cut another one of these for you. I apologize. You know what? I'm going to bring the die cut machine in so that you can see it. Those of you who have never seen what it looks like. It's really up close though, isn't it? All right, so put our plates in there. And our paper. Plate on top, and then we just roll it through. Ooh, not gonna hit the phone. And here it comes. Pretty cool, right? All right, there we go. Did not anticipate that happen. But there's always a way that we can fix what could be a mistake, right? In our card making. All right, so I was just going to say, well, you know what? You need to make sure that you have this so that it is going to, when you open it up, it's going to open up and be the right side up. And then, like I said, then realize that I made a big boo-boo. All right, so this, we're going to put glue on this. I'm also going to put glue right here. The other thing that I wouldn't do is I wouldn't put the pennant on until after you do this part. You're learning from me, right? All right, that looks pretty good. There we go. All right. Okay, so now we can put the cute little birdie on. All right. My fingers are all sticky. All right, so we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. And there's the broom. Need the broom and the bat. All right, Carl said that I put the broom on backwards, so let's do it the way he says I should do it. So he said I should turn the broom around like that. So what I did was there we go. I think it looks cute the way I have it too, so there. So I tucked her leg in kind of behind, and then made it so her tail was touching the broom to make it seem like she's riding the broom. So she is cocked back just a little bit, but it's still, I think it still works and looks adorable. All right, so now we're gonna get our Stampin' Dimensionals. I love Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to use as many of the big ones as I possibly can because it's easier to use big. And then I'll get the smaller ones out. Or I could cut these in half, but look at that. One fits on the pumpkin. So I could use the smaller dimensionals, but I do like how, I don't know, I like how these lay on the, I don't like to mix them. I don't know. And then, let's see here. Cut this one in half for the broomstick. So hopefully I'll see you on Thursday at 7. And then you'll get to see the other 2 projects and of what the kit is going to look like for this time. Let me just put a little guy on the tail. Just in case. So then I make sure she stays there, I guess I should say. Actually, I didn't do that on the other one. Let's not. Let's see what it looks like. And then if we need to, we can put something else on the tail afterwards. Come on. There we go. I am going to put just a little bit on the tail because I feel like it's popping up off of there. And you know what? You might not do it exactly the way I do it, and that's okay. That's what's so great. about this is that we can do it the way we want. So then I'm going to pop up the bat. And use a couple of the foam stars that I just think are adorable. The little bit of glitter on them. All right. And there she is, just a riding on her broom, right? Isn't that adorable? I think that's so cute. And then we open it up. Happy Halloween. And then if you want to write a little bit in the cards, you can. So cute. So, so cute. All right, I did see some glue. Here, let me get that off before we get off so I can show you that it will come off. There we go. Yep. And so there we have it. 2 cards made with Spooky Halloween. One with the broom going, her riding the broom the wrong way, and the other with her riding the broom the right way. Whichever way that might be, right? So what do you think? Please let me know what you think. And if you're excited for Thursday night to see what is coming up on Thursday evening, if you are not a follower of Cards by Sandy Lee, please follow it. If you are not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining. I'm so glad you're here and spent this time with me. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.